Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please give a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can. Just get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. The Boston Celtics drafted 5-year senior Max Shulga with the 57th pick in the draft, and I want to take a look at his tourney play. So let's get into the film. Alright, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come in the house. And of course, we'll be looking at Max Shulga out of VCU. He's of course a 5-year senior. He spent 3 years at Utah State, transferred with his coach for his last 2 years of college to go to VCU with the Rams, and he's improved every season. His first 2 years at Utah State, he wasn't much of a player, but then his third year there, he averaged about 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Transferred to VCU, averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, and then this year averaged 15.6 rebounds, 4 assists, about 2 steals a game. So this is a very well-rounded player, not a guy that's super athletic, but he has a lot of skill, a lot of craft, and he knows how to use his body as a 6'5" combo guard. So of course, I'll be going over all of his tournament games. This consists of 3 games in the A10 conference tournament and 1 game in the NCAA tournament. In this game against St. Bonnie's, I'm gonna read the numbers, but just stay with me. He had 2 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, no turnovers, and this was not one of his worst games. It was one of his worst scoring games. And I felt this was the perfect place to start off with the foundation of this is a 39% three-point career shooter over 5 seasons. So I know that he can shoot. Everybody knows that he can shoot. But in a game where he's only scoring 2 points, how does he impact the game, right? So I feel like this was a perfect place to start off. And there's going to be a game later against BYU where he scored 12, but he was just nowhere near as effective. So what I left first thing was VCU's offense is super intricate, right? They run a lot of sets, and some sets that I haven't seen college teams run. So they run him off 2 screens to start right here, get him at the top of the key, and then they run that with, and then after they run Spain, so you got the screen with the pass screen set on the ball screen as man, but Clark just ends up coming up to the wing. So they got the roll. They got the wing, but they leave this man. So they do a nice job communicating the switches on the Spain, but then they leave this guard right here in the corner, and he's a supernatural passer. Like his touch on passes, his placement, it takes nothing for him to just fling the ball perfectly to a teammate. And he's off balance here going against 2 guys, like slight footed, and he makes that pass look easy across the court, and he hits a 3. All right, so here VCU goes to a cross screen. Cross screen is post to post screening or block to block screening. So you see this guard on this block, he's going to set a screen for his big man on the opposite block. And what the offense is looking for in this play is of course, the best situation is to get this guard switched onto the big man into the post. But if this screen is really good, there's going to be like a half a second where this guard, of course, he doesn't prefer to be switched onto a big man. So he's going to stay here for 1 second or half a second to allow his man to get back to the big man. While that happens, there's going to be half a second where he has to leave so his man doesn't get open while Big is still trailing back to his man. So that's what happens here. Philip Russell sets the screen and he stays with just 1 beat, but Philip Russell sets a good enough screen where as the guard's leaving, the big man still isn't there. Shulga is the primary initiator on a lot of these actions. He's the passer. Again, he had 11 assists in this game. He did a nice job making these passes on time and on target, and they get a dunk. And he's like a do-it-all combo guard. Of course, he averages 6 rebounds a game, has 6 in this game. Of course, right here, he gets the defensive rebound. Then he recognizes that they have numbers, so he passes the ball, and they get a wide open 3. But then he also averages 1.7 offensive rebounds for a 6'5" guy, which was in the 97th percentile of his position in college basketball. And he just makes things happen even when he's not scoring. Again, he had 2 points in his game, but I felt he was super effective in the things that he did. And the 2 points was nothing that St. Bonnie's did. Like, again, there's going to be a game against BYU in the tournament where he had 12 points. But I felt like BYU did a lot to deter him, and him not being that athletic actually hurt him in that game. The 2 points here, he just missed like a lot of open threes. He missed like 5 wide open threes that could have easily turned this to a 17-point, 11 assist game. But he just makes things happen on the court, and here he gets the team a bucket. All right, so defensively, VCU brings a lot of pressure. He's primarily pressuring the ball 94 feet. Now he's not the greatest athlete, but he really competes. Like, he is a very good competitor on the defensive side, and he will have some good defensive plays. He's holding strong, you know what I'm saying? But if he's guarding a quicker guy, it will get tough for him. He did get blown by a couple times in these games. I don't think him pressing 94 feet should be his primary thing, but he is, again, super competitive. He has great hands. Again, he averaged 1.8 steals on the season. So he is a guy that can play defense, but against quicker guys, I wouldn't bank on him being able to stay in front of them legitimately. All right, so I really love this set that VCU ran while I was watching Max. They're going to go to horns action. Of course, horns, you got two people at the elbows of the free throw line. Then they're going to combine this with a UCLA cut. A UCLA cut is a high post back screen. So you got Max, he's going to set this screen, the Spurs. They ran this a lot for Victor, which you'll have a guard, again, setting the high post back screen for the big, and he's going to cut through. So, of course, this is the first option. If you can get an easy layup off this cut, of course, you'll take it. But then they combine this with 77. 77 is just two on-ball screens. So you got one here by Jennings, got one here by the big man. But what I really like about this play by VCU is when this guy cuts off the back screen, right, they make him go to the wing, right? So now there's no low man. There's no low man at all. So the 77, as you're going to have the guard, he's going to space out. But then you're going to have the big man, he's just going to slip right to the paint. So somebody has to come off of a shooter to get down there, right? Now, this works because this guy just plays phenomenal defense. He sees it and he forces to travel. But this is a perfect design. And if they just hit the timing a little bit better, or if this guy is a better shooter, this was like Sam Hauser, right? You can't come off of Sam Hauser because that's an easy three, right? So this is just such a phenomenal play. It doesn't work to perfection, but I like the setup. And again, the passing touch, the feel, the placement is just so natural. He can just pick up the ball and just fling it to the right space. Like, I don't know, this may be not a lot to some people, but like natural pass and feel does a lot for me personally. But like the ability to just pick the ball up and put it in the right place is a big thing for me. And again, he just makes things happen. This is a wild possession. It's going to be a lengthy one, so just stay with me. So he gets the steal. Of course, we talked about his hands earlier, just under 2 steals a game. He gets the steal, pass, they swing it around, they swing it right back to him. Again, in this game, he just missed threes. Like, it is what it is. Then they get an offensive rebound, they get a second chance opportunity. They drive and kick nicely, and then he ends up getting an offensive rebound, so they get a third chance. He gets that for his team. His guy misses that shot badly, but they ended up scoring. But it's just, he made things happen. So he got a steal, he passed the ball, he got a wide open shot, got an offensive rebound, and it led to points for his team. And at the end of the day, you won't have to worry about his fight or his competitiveness. He's very active on the defense side of the ball. There were some times where I saw him like overcommit to help and not be able to get back to his man because of his lack of foot speed. Here, he's very active in his zone, and he finished the possession with a stop. All right, so here he makes a very smart play. He calls for the screen just to get these two out of the corner. Then he goes over here, initiating a cut, puts the pass right where it needs to be, and it leads to a dunk. All right, so this is another one of his assists with St. Bondage going to zone. And this is impressive to me because not only does he recognize that he has to lob this pass, but he recognized that he has to lob it to the inside because of this man playing to the outside, right? So he lobs it to the inside, leads to an easy bucket. I talked about his lack of foot speed earlier, and even though he's forced to press up a lot, like play 94 feet in this VCU team, because that's just what they do, he's still going to compete, but I don't think it's the best defensive role for him because of his lateral quickness. To be fair, he has a lot more good defensive possessions than bad ones, but the blow-bys were pretty evident that they can happen a lot more at the next level depending on matchup. And here he shows some nice verticality as his man cuts, and he's the guy protecting the rim. Does a nice job defending. And here he gets his 2 points of the game, and he's gonna have to rely on using his size, his craft, and his strength as a bigger guard, which he does perfectly fine. He'll have to do that more or also get better at that at the next level. On pick and rolls, he's very methodical. He snakes, he crabs, he uses pump fakes and craft stuff of that nature to get his shot off. All right, so here they go to the Horns UCLA 77 action again. So of course you got Horns, the UCLA cut right there, high post back screen set by Shulga. Then he comes out and gets to the 77 action. This time it works perfectly. The no look to the roller, who's wide open in the paint. All right, so here's VCU in their blob action. They're gonna get the ball up there, and then they're gonna have a pin down off here set for Shulga just to get into some action. Then he's gonna move the defense with his eyes. So you see 2 people's gonna jump. Now he has 2 points, right? He has 2 points. He's shooting horribly. 2 people still jump out on him because, again, he's known as a shooter. And you're going to see as his teammate rolls, as a 2-on-1 situation in the paint here. He's going to move the defense with his eyes. He's going to look at the roller, force this defender right here to come over. Then you got this man 22 right here. He's wide open. He puts a good pass on him. All right, so one last good pass to end this game off. Him in a simple pick and roll. He knows that this man is a tag man. He's responsible for stopping his roll. But this guy comes up a little bit too early. His guy hasn't even rolled yet, and he's all the way up at the free throw line. He makes a nice quick read, fires it over to the corner for a shot. All right, so here we have him against Loyola Chicago. He had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. and 2 turnovers. Didn't shoot great from the field either. He was 4 for 21 from 3 in this tournament. So a guy that is regularly a good shooter just did not shoot well in the tournament, but that is okay. So again, so here he was guarding a non-shooter, so he was able to help a little bit. You see that he's not going to shoot the ball. He gets right into a dribble handoff, gets a contest, he gets the rebound, and again, you see the effortless touch on his passes. He barely has to look at his guy or even like load the pass up. It's just out of his hands perfectly for a layup. And this is what I talked about earlier. Sometimes he will overcommit to the help, and with him not being like a great lateral athlete, that would kind of hurt him sometimes on the closeout. So he helps. Here, he's lucky that the pass didn't go here first, because this probably would have been a wide open shot, but he does get his hands in the pass lane, so this probably clouds that. But it goes to the corner, goes to the wing, and then he gets blown by a little bit for dunk. Also earlier I talked about him in the pick and roll, how he's super methodical. He snake screens, he crabs guys, so he gets a screen here, snakes it and crabs at the same time. A good Gortat screen from his big, and he finishes. He shot 65% at the rim, so he can't finish at the rim. All right, so here you're going to see the methodical nature of him as a scorer. Again, you got the crossover. He's going to try to put together a lot of moves. Got the hesitation, again, using that 6'5" frame well. Gets off his defender. Pump fake right there, gets the foul. He averaged about 5 free throw attempts a game. 4 fouls drawn per game, which was in a nice percentile. There he gets to the line. And here he applies immense pressure and always competing and forces a turnover. All right, so here he is handling the pick and roll. Right here is going to use the first screen. Behind the back, re-screen, gets him the space to shoot a 3. And he shot 45% on top of the key threes this season, 27 to 60. He knocks one down. Something I did notice with his scoring is that majority of his buckets inside will come tough if he's handling, just because of the lack of speed. Most times, even if he gets separation off a screen, he won't be able to hold that advantage or space he created for long, especially versus quicker guys. All right, so he shows those chops as a shooter, shows a little patience off the ball with this cut right here. Dave get the ball, and he has a quick trigger, and he's able to get squared pretty fast, and he can shoot off balance off the catch. And again, top of the key, 45%, knocks it down. All right, so here he gets caught up on the screen early, but I thought he did a nice job getting back and playing strong, solid defense. And I talked about his competitive nature and him just making things happen. This is a perfect example of that. All right, so here he is as a handler. Again, he's going to get a nice screen, get some space to work with, but then that space is going to close because this is a quick guy that's guarding him. But again, he's 6'5", uses his size well. He's going to legally use that shoulder right there, get the defender up off him, pump fakes, gets the defender to jump, and then he lays it up. All right, so he's going to get a defensive rebound, not box out, but he moves a guy to get a defensive rebound. Then we're going to go coast to coast right here. Again, he drives, he's going to use that pump fake, slow down the defense, and he lays it up. All right, so he throws a horrible turnover here with 38 seconds left with Lower Chicago down 5, but he's able to play good defense and get the ball back for his team. All right, so championship game against George Mason. He had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers on 4 for 9 shooting. He got to the line a lot, was 8 for 9 from there. And this was the most, hold on now. This was the most burst I've seen from him in these 4 games. And that's a quick first step. That's a quick first step. I watched 2 games after this film session to like see if I could see it again. I didn't see it again, but this was, to know that this is in there somewhere was cool to see. That's a nice first step right there, and that was good to see. And then the very next play against a big man, he's not able to create a substantial advantage. Maybe the big man getting his hands on him was a little bit to do this also, but the big man was sliding his feet. He also got some help from his teammate right there at the end. And here, just phenomenal defense by him. He helps, pass goes to his man, he closes out in control, turns his man about 3 or 4 times. It makes him stumble. He tries to do the Kobe escape move off 2K16, and he doesn't hit it. And again, he just makes things happen. Things happen when he's on the court. 2 seconds left, he just finds the ball and lays it up. All right, so this is also nice defense and nice screen navigation by him. You're gonna see him get under and over that screen and does a nice job contesting as a chaser, and he gets the rebound. Again, playing defense off the off-ball screen. Big man sets a veer screen, and he's able to get his hands in the passing lane. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was his first 3 of the game, and he makes a huge one with shot clock running down. Again, top of the key, 45%, 27 for 60. Does a little step back moves, all the space he needs to knock a clutch one down. All right, so here in the NCAA tournament against BYU, he had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 turnovers, shot 4 for 10, all threes. This was his worst game based on Sports Reference game score, his worst game of the season. He hit 4 threes in the second half, all in the second half, but they were like had no impact on the game. He made all of them with like when they were down like 10, and then he hit one super late off balance, but he just didn't have any impact in his game, like especially in the first half. I don't know, I just felt like BYU was just too much for VCU in general, but I feel like the pressure they were applying and the jump in athleticism from some of their guys was a little too much. I think this mag fella number 0 did a phenomenal job, but here he starts it off good. He comes off this zoom action right here, gets the pin down, then gets the dribble handoff, finds a roller for the alley-oop. And I lied, excuse me, he had 1 3 in the first half. So he had 3 in the second, 1 in the first, but again, top of the key, damn near automatic, 45%. And again, had 4 turnovers in this game. The pressure did get to him a little bit, not able to get this pass off. And of course, he still had some plays that I did, like showing the competitiveness, sliding them puppies on the defense side of the ball. Forces his man to pick the ball up, looking for somebody to pass to, then he switches off, he gets a nice contest. Here, I'm not sure why, but he drives right into the help defense and gets a turnover. And I feel like majority of the times that he got blown by in the games that I watched was when he was expecting something to happen and then something else happened. And of course, like I said, he just doesn't have the athleticism to make up that advantage that was created. And here, I guess he was expecting a screen to come and he got caught flat-footed and the guy just drives past him for a layup. And here, this was that off balance, crazy 3 I was talking about, him coming off an off ball screen and puts it up and making it. But here he shows the IQ as his teammates driving. You have the rim protector here on him. He's going to just move him out the way so his teammate can get a layup. Here I thought he played solid defense until the end where Diego Dimon does a ball fake and catches him. And he probably just wasn't thinking at this moment, but a careless turnover leading to a foul. But that is a video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can, just so we can get out there a little bit more. And I will see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.